السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hello, how are you محمد and Anas؟
ألو.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Are you grade 8؟ grade 8 يا شباب.
أيوة مستر جريديت.
You're welcome. How are you؟
الحمد لله كويس.
It's good to see you today. Was you attending last session last week?
I don't remember but I think it was the first time to meet.
You're welcome. I welcome all of you. That's good. Just give me 1 minute for others to come. Inshallah, we will start. I think you will be enjoying, inshallah. You are only two. Muhammad Abdel Ghani and who's Zabia Muhammad? Is this right name? Zubaida? Anyway, maybe she should correct her name. Let's share a screen with you. Today's lesson is about this one. Hello. We are going to start soon. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Today, shabab, if it is first time to see me, I am Mahmoud Asar. I'm science teacher in Egyptian section in Andalus School. In this program, we are not going to study. It is not a competition. It is not a test. It is just a program to add to your information about science, about space, exactly. And I hope you enjoy this study, inshallah, at this time. And I hope to add to some of my information to your knowledge. I'd like you to share with me, contact with me, discuss with me, ask, search, discover with me. All of these skills we should develop to get benefit from this course, inshallah. Anyway, our topic today is about moons in the solar system. Moons in the solar system. I think all of you know that moons are not planets, moons are not stars. So what is the nature of moons? Moons are dark and cold followers to the planets. So it is not hot, it is not shiny, it is not luminous, it is not self-shining bodies, but they get their light from the sun and they reflect the sunlight to be lighted and to light their planets. So the nature of the moon is a piece of planets, a piece of planet. So it's rocks and it contains mountains. In 16th of the last century, Neil Armstrong, which was a spaceman, was American one. He has the first flight to the moon service, and he traveled to visit the moon. He discovered the space and the surface of the moon, as you know. In this time, scientists have known the nature of the moon. But today we like to discuss about is there any updates of numbers of moons. I mean, we studied that Earth has only one moon, Mars has two moons, maybe Jupiter is different, maybe Saturn is different, but Venus and Mercury has not. I'd like to know how to search for this using Google. If you type in search bar of Google number of moons, for example, number of moons in the solar system, like this. Just you should know all of these results are different. Tools of moon of Google, all results, images, news, videos, maps, and more. We start with images, for example, to see some of the images of the moons in the solar system. I think you see all of them are shiny, but they are not self-shining bodies. They just reflect the light of the sun. So they play the role of mirror. You know mirror? If you have a mirror in the sky, in the sun, for example, this is a mirror, and this is sun. It has sun rays. They fall on the surface of the mirror. Then the mirror reflects them down to light on the other side. So if you have a wall here, this wall would be lighted. Why? Because of the reflection of light. This is the rule of moon. Moon is the name of the Earth planet follower. It is not the same name of the other planets. We will see this now. I mean, the two moons of Mars are not called moon. They have another names. Now we know about some of them. Look at this picture in details. These are planets and their moons in the same line. Also this one, planets and their moons on the same line. You see all of them are shiny because they reflect the sunlight. So without sun, the moon would be dark, the same like the Earth, because there is no sun around it. There is no sun rays around it to reflect them. Good. So now if you search about videos about this information on the moons, to count the number of moons, to see the pictures of moons around the planets, you see moons of all planets are mentioned here in this table. I think you studied it in grade 4, but now we just try to update your information about the numbers of moons around Saturn and Jupiter exactly. Look at this one. You know, NASA agency. NASA is a spaceship agency to study the
مستر
Yes.
الشير سكرين عند حضرتك متوقف يا مستر، تعلق على اللي هي الصورة الأولى بس ما تغيرش فيها أي حاجة.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. You told me about this. Now I'm searching for videos about moons. We will study these images exactly. I think now you see. These are moons of Saturn, the followers of Saturn, for example. Let's see now some information in this video about moons. That's good to mention, Muhammad. Thank you very much. I forget. I was setting it in default to share any screen that I use, but I forgot to change. Sorry. I'm trying now to make the sounds loudly.
Our moon isn't the only moon out there. That's right. Earth, on the other hand, has one rocky and rather large moon. It's about
Rocky. So its nature is rocks. It is not ice. It is not water as you think. It rocks. It is rocks.
1/4 the size of Earth. Our moon is the only other place in our solar system where humans have set foot.
Oh, more than 80 moons. Huh? You may say that we studied about only 60 moons, mister. Yeah, but this was in, I think, after 2006. Now we are in 2021. So they update the information day by day with NASA study, with NASA searches. So now you have to know that moons around Saturn is more than 80 moons, not 60 as you studied in grade 4 before.
And at least 2 of those are ocean moons too. They are called Titan and Enceladus. NASA's Cassini mission.
Good.
Scientists have discovered more than a dozen moons orbiting Neptune. Its largest moon, called Triton, has volcanoes with icy lava flows.
So this moon is the largest one and it contains volcanoes on its surface.
Brr! Volcanoes, underground oceans, and icy jets. What do you think we'll discover on moons next?
Good. I'd like now
More
you
about
to study with me a very interesting concept about moons, which is gravity. If the moon is celestial body, if the moon is rocky surface, so it has gravity as the gravity of the Earth. You know, Earth has a gravity also. If this is the Earth and this is its moon, which one is bigger? I think moon or Earth. Which one is smaller? Moon. And which one is bigger? Earth. So moon has smaller gravity and Earth has bigger gravity. Why? Because the size or the volume of the Earth is bigger than the volume of the moon, and the gravity depends on the mass of the body. Look at this information, it's very important. Gravity depends on the mass of the body. So as the mass of the body increases, its gravity increases. As the mass of the body decreases, its gravity decreases. So here, the gravity of the Earth is bigger than the gravity of the moon. I mean, the gravity of the Earth equals 6 times of the gravity of the moon. I think you studied this before. What is the reason for this? Muhammad, can you say the reason that makes the gravity of the Earth is bigger than the gravity of the moon?
Yeah, teacher.
What is it?
Because the
The mass of the Earth.
the mass of Earth is bigger than the mass of the moon. So
Good.
the gravity of Earth is bigger than the gravity of the moon.
Yeah, good, thank you. Noreen, you're welcome. Can you unmute yourself and answer my question? Hello? Noreen is here? Can you hear me? Noreen, ask to unmute. Anyway, I was going to ask here, what is the effects of changes of gravity from Earth to Moon and from Moon to Earth? I mean, what is the results? What is the result of this? What is the result if you travel to the Moon? What happens to your body, Muhammad? If you travel to the
Your
Moon?
body will fly.
Yeah, traveling to Moon. You said my body will fly on the surface on the
Yeah.
Moon. Is there any
No.
air, is there any atmospheric air, Muhammad, on Moon surface?
No.
No. So how can your body fly? Let's imagine that your body cannot be attracted to the surface of the Moon. I mean, maybe it flies, as you say, maybe it flies, maybe it does not, but there is no air, there is no atmospheric air because there is no gravity. You know, the surface of the Earth has a gravity and it attracts the atmospheric air around it. So here is air, here is atmosphere.
Still, as in space, we can't fly in space because we can't stand in space because there is no gravity, so there's no air.
You can't stand, you can't fly, but your body just is found on the surface of the Moon. Maybe it flies from يعني for a short time and then it backs to the surface of the Moon because there is no air to carry your body. Let's imagine that and try to see any videos that explains how does our body do on the surface of the Moon. Maybe you can fly, maybe you cannot fly. Let's see what does YouTube says. What happens to our body on the surface of the Moon? Let's search. Why it doesn't search?
Because you are searching in your channel.
Yeah, I will cut this title to take it. I'm sorry. That's good. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You will find the record of this session, inshallah, Muhammad, on my channel. Have you link of it?
I didn't. I don't have YouTube because the last update of my YouTube make problems because my phone is Android. I think
No
last
problem.
model of
No
Android.
problem. If you attend the session, no need to see the video. If you attend the session itself, you no need to watch the video again.
I will try to attend Mr. channel and subscribe.
Thank you. Look at this video now. It's about 10 minutes, maybe small.
Space object visited by man. On July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 spacecraft landed on its surface. Neil Armstrong
Apollo
became the first
is the
man.
name of the spaceship. Apollo, this one. It was called Apollo 11, and the man who was inside this Apollo spaceship was called Armstrong. You'll see his picture now.
Walked on the moon. Together with Buzz Aldrin, they spent about 2.5 hours on the Earth's natural satellite. Preparation for the flight took several years, and all of the astronauts' equipment weighed more than 80 kilograms, or about 176 pounds. So what if you found yourself on the moon without all this protective equipment or a protective suit? Would a person...
See, this protective suit is important to travel to the space because there are harmful radiations from the sun on the surface of the moon, like infrared and ultraviolet rays from the sun.
Be able to survive on the moon for at least 30 seconds. By the way, do you know how many people have visited the moon? You'll learn the correct answer at the end of the video. So let's imagine that you're on the moon. You have moon dust under your feet and a black sky with stars overhead. But you have no time to admire the scenery.
Moon dust and stars in the sky. يعني it has dust on its surface. These dust comes from the rocks.
There's no air for you to breathe. The moon has practically no atmosphere compared to Earth's, which is 10 trillion or 10 to the 13th power times denser. The moon's gas content is considered to be a vacuum. In fact, the density of the atmosphere of the moon can be compared with the density of the uppermost layers of the Earth's atmosphere, where the ISS, the International Space Station, is located. But there is good news.
ISS is International Space Station. It is a place that has many cameras, many telescopes to study the space.
Such conditions, you won't die instantly. You have about 15 seconds before you pass out from hypoxia. This is how much time your body will have to use the remaining oxygen in your blood to sustain brain function. But a lack of air is far from our only concern. You've probably...
A lack of air, so there is no air to respire. You have to take your oxygen tubes.
Probably seen memes of the blobfish, which is called the saddest creature on Earth. In fact, it's a drop in pressure that makes it so sad. This fish lives at great depths, and there it has a very normal look. But when it's caught, due to the large difference in pressure, it inflates. On the moon, you risk becoming a sad blobfish. Since there's practically no atmosphere there, the pressure is extremely low.
The pressure means the atmospheric pressure. It's very low because there is no air around your body on the surface of the moon. It is not the same on the surface of the Earth because there is atmospheric air on the surface of the Earth.
On Earth, a column of air with a mass of about 15 to 20 tons presses the entire surface.
These columns are atmospheric pressure.
15 to 20 tons.
These columns are the air pressure on your body, on your building, in your car, on your book, in your bag, from the sky to the surface of the Earth. But this pressure is not found on the surface of the moon.
Presses the entire surface of an adult's body. However, we don't notice this. Firstly, the air pillar presses evenly from all sides. And secondly, there's also air inside of our bodies, and the internal pressure is equal to the atmosphere. But due to low pressure on the moon,
on the surface of the Earth, the internal pressure of the air inside your body equals the outer pressure of the air. On the moon, this is not right. Why? Because there is no outer pressure of the Earth.
Nitrogen dissolved in the blood and tissues will be released in the form of bubbles in your blood. Your body, starting...
So, inside your body you will find bubbles of gases inside your blood of air because there is too much air inside your body, but there is no outside. At the beginning of your journey on the surface of the moon, at the beginning.
With your arms and legs will swell like a balloon, but you won't burst. The elasticity...
swell يعني هيتورموا because of atmospheric pressure inside your air pressure inside your body. شايف this swelling يعني الورم ده.
Your skin will protect you from tearing. But don't try to hold your breath. At such a low pressure, you could face the same problem as divers when rising too fast to the surface.
نفس
Your
المشكلة the same problem with diver when he tries to dive under the surface of water. He faces too much pressure of water.
lungs could burst. A better idea, on the contrary, is to exhale. Moreover, under such conditions, water will boil regardless of temperature. This means that the liquid in open areas, skin, eyes, will evaporate. You'll feel how the saliva boils on your tongue, but the blood will
You see, all of water inside your body will evaporate.
evaporate. You'll feel how the
Evaporate means all of the liquids inside your body evaporate as a vapor from your body because of air pressure inside your body. So the first problem your body faces on the surface of the moon is respiration problems because of lack of air outside your body.
saliva boils on your tongue, but the blood will remain liquid. The walls of your vessels will protect it from boiling. We can't exactly call the temperature on the moon comfortable. During the day, the surface warms up to 127 degrees Celsius. That's 260 Fahrenheit. And at night,
It is very hot because it is near to the sun. It is nearer to the sun more than the earth. So it's 127. You only have 27 Celsius degree on the surface of the earth.
the temperature can drop to minus 173 degrees Celsius. That's minus 279 Fahrenheit. Moreover, a day on the moon is equivalent to 29 Earth days, spending 14 and a half Earth days in light and the same in darkness. Therefore, like Apollo 11, it's better to choose dawn for a visit to the moon when the surface is not so cold, but hasn't had time to warm up too much. But even if you find yourself on the moon at night, you won't freeze instantly. There are three types of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. In the vacuum of space, there's only one kind: thermal radiation.
The problem here in the night is radiation. You know, radiations are just because the sun as a star, it radiates harmful radiations around your body on the surface of the moon. So you will face many of radiations that harms your body.
So you'll lose heat very slowly. But you're not just in space. You're standing on the surface of the moon, which means that there's another kind of heat transfer in addition to thermal radiation: conduction. But the surface of the moon doesn't conduct heat very well, so you won't.
Why do you think that the surface of the moon does not conduct heat well? Why? Because there is no liquids, there is no gases on the moon. It's only solid, which is the surface of the moon.
Won't turn into ice, at least not in 30 seconds. If you find yourself on the moon in the afternoon, then within a few seconds, instead of tanning, you'll get burned by solar radiation. On Earth, the ozone layer protects us from the dangerous ultraviolet radiation of the sun. And on the moon, you won't have such protection. In addition, it will be unbearable to stand on the hot surface. Also, the natural satellite of the Earth has a very weak magnetic field. This means that once on the moon, you'll be attacked by streams of solar and galactic cosmic rays. According to scientists, the approximate level of radiation on the moon throughout the year ranges from 100 to 380 millisievert. You would receive about 1 millisievert by getting 3 chest x-rays. That is, if you stay on the moon for a year, you'd receive the same dose of radiation as if you had received from 300 to 1,140 X-rays. In the future, you would face big health problems, but not in those 30 seconds. If only your stay on Earth's satellite doesn't coincide with the next cycle of solar activity, which happens every 11 years. During that time, flares on the sun emit a particularly large number of X-rays and gamma rays. In this situation,
X-rays and gamma rays are radiations that comes from the sun on the surface of the moon, and they affect badly your body because your body is extremely exposed to the too much amounts of these radiations in the night. On the
Mister,
yes.
but by the way, there is good rays come from the sun to you, like rays that carry vitamin D to our bone.
Yes, you're right, but not in this too much amount because your body is weak. So you just need a little bit amount of radiations, not too much like this, because you would be very near to the sun, not as you on the surface of the earth. You are far away from the sun, but here on the moon you are near to the sun. You understand? You are near to the
Yeah.
source of the radiations.
likely die instantly. Another trouble that awaits you on the moon is dust called regolith. This is where Neil Armstrong...
Dust is, in Arabic it's اللي هو التراب. This is a problem also on the surface of the moon because it affects your respiratory system.
left an imprint of his boot. Since there's no wind on the moon, it has survived to this day. And if you had more than 30 seconds, you could find it. True, you definitely need a spacesuit. Without one, moon dust carries mortal danger for you. Have you noticed the huge number of craters on the moon? These are traces of meteorites falling. The active bombardment of the moon ended 3.87 billion years ago. Nevertheless, meteorites still fall on its surface. Sometimes they are tiny, and sometimes they are incredibly huge. For example, in 2014, Spanish astronomers recorded the collision of a meteorite weighing more than 400 kilograms, or 882 pounds. If you find yourself near the place of the fall of such a giant, then your 30 seconds on the moon will expire much earlier. When meteorites fall, regolith...
It means that there are a space bodies very small that rotate around the moon surface. Maybe they hit your body, and it also has dust, as you see in this picture now. Dust is very problem. It's very disaster. It's very bad disaster in the surface of the moon because they are not stable. They fly in the space. They may hit your body, they may drop on the surface of the Earth or another planets.
It forms as a result of crushing of lunar rocks under vacuum. Its particles are very small, ranging in size from 0.03 to 1 millimeter. That's 0.001 to 0.04 inches.
The grain of the dust is very, very small.
However, they're very sharp and can easily damage your lungs. Moon dust.
Here, they can damage your lungs because you are very small dust grains.
Is constantly bombarded by solar wind particles, which is why it acquires a positive electric charge. Therefore, it seems to rise above the surface of the moon. So regolith will cause you eye irritation and sinusitis. So, your 30 seconds on the moon have expired. These were not the most pleasant seconds in your life, but the good news is that you're still alive. But what if you stay there longer? Without a spacesuit, in the end, the lack of air can kill you. Oxygen starvation will occur, and then damage to your brain cells. But if after 90 seconds of being on the moon, you're able to return to livable conditions, then there is a high probability you will survive. But if you want to take the same long walk on the moon as the American astronauts, then you still need reliable protection. NASA just introduced a new lunar spacesuit in which the Americans hope to return to the moon. It weighs 91 kilograms, or about 200 pounds, but
91 kilograms. The space suit to protect your body from the radiations and dust and the very hot temperature. 91 kilograms. سبحان الله، انت تلعب حديد قبل ما تلبسها.
Since the gravity of the moon is 6 times weaker than on Earth, the developers are sure that it will be comfortable to move in. Astronauts will not have to jump on the surface of the moon like their predecessors. They can literally walk. The new
تقول يا مستر هو ازاي لابس 91 kilograms وبينط كده؟ بيقول لك because the gravity of the moon is 1/6 of the gravity of the Earth. So he is easy can jump and can run on the surface of the moon.
will also protect against moon dust and radiation. It's designed for moonwalks lasting up to 8 hours. The Americans hope to fly in these protective suits to the moon by the year 2024. And in 2028, the first base should be built on the moon. NASA's new lunar
Oh, they are going to build buildings on the surface of the moon.
program is called the Artemis program. And finally, the answer to the question, how many people have visited the moon? In the period from 1969 to 1972, under the Apollo program, 6 flights were performed with a landing on the moon. 12
That's a good journey on the surface of the moon. I think now you can imagine what happens to your body if you are traveling to the moon. Finally, I'd like you to enjoy this information on the moon. Thank you very much. Keep doing. I'll see you next week, inshallah. Muhammad is here.
Teacher.
Yes, Muhammad.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, go on.
How can we live on Mars but there is no water and no good sand that we can plant? How will we live?
Now we cannot live, but we try to search. Could we or not? We search. Maybe we take our oxygen, we take our water, but not for long time. It's temporary living. It's temporary life, just for journey to study and to discover the surface of the Mars.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes.